Technologic.
Marketing Tech Blog.
Technologic. Buy it, use it, break it, fix it, crash it.
So we used to just talk about, I used to just kind of go through the blog posts on this, and I really thought that was kind of boring. So, focusing on one area seems to be, a lot better on the podcast and the radio show. So I wanted to talk about just two things, if you're going to do to your site. Everything that you just said goes into content strategies.
Yep.
And so content strategies are absolutely, that's how you're going to find customers now on the internet, period. Right. Because people are researching that next purchase, and you have to provide information that's of value to them for them to do it. So, I tell people that there's a brand and then there's a person, and the only thing that connects them is a need, right? Mm-hmm. And the need is I have to find something that solves this problem for me. And so that's where search comes in, is search helps me find the solution. And if you're not in the search results, obviously, your competitors are there. So Eloqua, Oracle Eloqua, huge company now. Mm-hmm. Boy, they're just massive. And they've kind of slid into content marketing a lot more. Mm-hmm. They're paying a lot more attention to it. Purchased Compendium, that's part of that. But so they did a great roll call on marketers for the last year, 200 marketers, and they basically asked them a ton of different questions about how they were handling their content. And it was pretty interesting. I thought it was eye-opening, actually, but 29% only 29% of companies were actually producing multiple assets per week. So that can be blog posts, white papers, infographics, videos, but just 29%. And then 54% are producing a content asset, excluding blog posts, every 2 weeks or so. Mm-hmm. So only half of people are doing, are producing an extra piece of content every 2 weeks or so. 33% of marketers are blogging 2 to 5 times per month.
Wow.
And 17% don't blog at all.
Wouldn't you think consumers would like more content?
Well, it's just that if guys, this is what we're talking about. This is yours for the taking.
I know.
And that's that. If 17% of your competitors aren't blogging at all, that just, you blow by them by blogging once a week. Yeah. Once a week, you're blowing by, you're up with 33% of your competitors. Let's say you blog once a day, you're killing your competitors. And it's not that you see it the next day, but you see it, after. It's a momentum thing. Yep. The other interesting thing that they shared on this was only 56% of companies share third-party content, which is really intriguing. So you just talked about reviews and how important they were. Right. It's not just important from a finding standpoint and an authority standpoint. It's also a trust standpoint, that when you see a review written by a third person that doesn't have a monetary gain, and vested interest in your company, you tend to trust them more. So third-party content is fantastic. When people want to say, hey, I would love to write a post about how we're using your product. That's a gift. And so I think a lot of companies really struggle with, I don't have marketing resources. I don't have people that can write. I don't have this. Well, you have customers, and those customers can write, and those customers can be in videos, and those customers can write reviews, and you can solicit those reviews on your site, right? And so I just think that the numbers are really sad from a marketing standpoint, honestly.
But you know what that signifies?
What's that?
It signifies kind of a laziness of marketing. I mean, we've talked about this on a regular basis.
I think resource and laziness, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, if marketers know that content builds value and builds interactions, right? And marketers, I hate to paint with a broad brush, but there's always been angles. There's always been a way to cheat. And we're seeing that inside of search, is that search has dismissed those ineffective, shallow ways of communication.
Right.
You got to do the work.
Yeah.
And that's and for Marketing Tech Blog, you guys are putting out blog content every day about different products every night.
and I have a list of I probably have 200 bookmarks to go, and it just grows every single day. So the other one that I wanted to share on this was that this is a hopeful statement, but 60% of marketers that responded to this repurpose content 2 to 5 times. And I love that. I absolutely love that. And over half of them are doing what's called snackable content. So let's talk about that just for a second.
Yeah.
So right here we have the podcast, right? I am talking about a blog post that I wrote.
Right.
So I'm repurposing it on this radio show right now.
And there will be a video as well.
It's going to air on the radio.
Right.
Then it's going to air on podcast for Edge of the Web Radio. Then it's going to air on Marketing Tech Blog.
Right.
And that podcast. And then it's going to go to video. And it's going to be on YouTube, and it's going to be on Edge of the Web Radio, Site Strategics, and Marketing Tech Blog.
Right.
And then it's going to be in our emails. Right?
Yep.
You guys put out an email to your people, and we put out an email to ours.
And then it's going to be retweeted and broadcast.
Retweeted, shared. Yeah, we're going to promote it through social media, through Twitter, everything else.
Yeah.
And so listen to that. So of course, we put a lot of effort into the show, and, Freedom 95 does a fantastic job at producing it and everything. But we are repurposing it 12 times, and guess what? We're not saturating an audience. We're reaching different people on every single segment.
Right there.
And so it's not like we're just killing someone over and over and over and beating them over the head. We're really spreading it out to new audiences and new people. And this is something that I was really glad to see that these marketers were doing, was repurposing content. So that's something for you guys to think about out there, is that it is not this, how do I come up with 2 blog posts a week? No, it's not like that at all. It's, how do you come up with one answer that your clients need to know, or a sales prospect needs to know?
Right.
And then how do you write a blog post about it? How do you do a video about it? How do you do an infographic about it? Maybe you do a white paper about it. Maybe you do a webinar on it. Maybe you do a video, whatever, and there's just so much that you can do.
Absolutely.